Hey there, welcome. My name is Tina, and I am a soul alignment coach, and I help people remove the blocks so that they can manifest the life that they desire. So this is the Crossed Over Celebrity channel, and on this channel, I team up with a celebrity that has crossed over to the other side. And through channeling and some creative writing, we go through the person's soul contract, and we pull some oracle cards and basically bring through messages that they want to share with you. And in today's video, who is partnered up with me is the great Dick Clark. He was the great New Year's Eve guru and did a lot of famous radio show host, and he was most known for his American Bandstand time. And he was born in New York and died at the age of 82. He had quite a long life, and he says no regrets there. He's very a wise, soft, paternal energy, very respectful, and just this very centered being. And that was very enjoyable to have his energy here with us. And so without further comments, we are going to, I'm going to pull up his chart. So we're going to talk about the soul contract first, which I always do in these videos. And so there he is with his beautiful wife. I was actually going to crop her out, and he was like, no. I want the whole picture. He was a great love of his, and he had great respect for her. He is very complimentary of her being so warm and generous and just the super nice person. And he said helped him balance out. He could be very intense at times and with his emotions, and she was that level, the one that kind of leveled him out. And he is so grateful for her love and her personality. When I talk about the soul contracts, I'm not going to get into the minutia of how I put this together. I do always put in the description box a short introductory video of how I put the charts together. You know, we all have a physical side, a spiritual side. And so those numbers kind of, the physical starts to play out initially, and then our spiritual side pulls in as well. And the numbers carry certain experiences that we wanted to have during our lifetime. And for Dick, you know, he goes by Dick Clark, and he, you know, having this sevens in your physical karma was really, for him, it was to really come into learning how to communicate how he feels. Because when our karma, which I always call our opportunities for growth, is really where we want to transmute into, all the numbers have positive and negative connotations. And so these vibrations that we chose, these energies that create our reality, we were hoping in our karma side, we'll get exposed to a lot of the negative side to bring us into the positive side. So when you see somebody with sevens, they're really about to come into being able to show who they really are, to communicate their feelings. And that's what he was saying with this marriage that he had, was that he struggled with that. So he would get very blocked and frustrated. And so then his emotions would kind of be all over the place. And she was helping to balance that out. The people in our life do, you know, these soul charts do work with the people around, our soul family and people that come into our life, they push on certain numbers and buttons. And that's why people can have similar charts, but it's really about your parents' charts and your soul family's charts and how these really play out for you and how you learn your lessons and you become more and more conscious. So Dick has said in interviews that he was very fortunate. He had very loving parents, very supportive parents. And this was really crucial to him being a successful and being able to express himself so well, because he has one of the toughest spiritual karmas you can have, and that's the 22-4. And this can be a very blocked energy, makes you feel very separated from everyone, makes you, feel like you can't trust anyone. And it's kind of these very negative energies that can really, and so if he would have had very abusive parents, this could almost be emotionally disturbing to a child if they have this in their chart. So he has talked about that he was very lucky. His parents, like I said, were very supportive of them. He lost, sevens are tied to heart healing. He lost an older brother. He only had one other brother, and he lost that brother in the war. So again, this accentuated the support that his parents gave to him solely because, of that lesson that very, very painful, hard lesson that they had to endure. So the sevens, like I said, are all about this hidden self, but he was meant to become very magnetic, because sevens are all about being magnetic, but in a karma position, you're to learn how to communicate, to be magnetic, and to bring people to you and to bring them, together, and to be very decisive, but also be very versatile and adaptive, so that they have to learn this. Now, he had these very spiritual talents, which is the feet. You kind of see this fetus symbol here. I'm going to annotate my mouse here. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Just depends if I remember, but hang on, please. There we go. So these fives, like I was saying, and I'm pointing to the symbol of the fetus, it's really all about him learning how to understand intangibles. But the fives, and that means these energies around you and learning how to navigate them. Now, fives are all about Aries energy. This was somebody with these types of talents, is all about truth. And the more that he verbally spoke, it's all tied to your speech and writing. The more that he did that, and the more that he spoke his truth, the stronger these energies would be. Now, he also has these nines in a soul destiny. We'll get to the meaning of that. But the nines also accentuate the rest of your chart, because your numbers are also driven by the numbers around it. So him having these fives and talents, if, like I said, he wouldn't have had these parents that were allowing him to be so expressive and to speak his truth, which is very important to come into the talents of these fives, he could have turned out to be a much, much different person, and definitely not quite as successful and grounded and as centered in self as he was, very much with a lot of integrity. And, people trusted him and what he said. And that was all because he was all about, these are great pioneer energies. He was part of that American bandstand, which brought in all of these musicians. And that was very, very controversial. People were really down on rock and roll. He was bringing in all of these artists. But again, this was all about him bringing and uniting these groups through his great speech, talents, being very creative, talking, uniting them. And his physical goals is all about emotionally connecting, grounding himself into society and connecting with others. And the more that you do that when you have these eights, the more people that you end up reaching out to and connecting. And most famous people will have 8s in their charts, and usually these 7s, because it makes them so magnetic. 4s are good as well. He has a lot of great numbers in his chart, and he used that power very well. Like I said, that great foundation of support, because when you have a very hard karmic numbers, that he chose to experience, he feels so fortunate to have them, and he gives them so much credit. Now, again, so the stronger, the more that he got in radio, the more he was able, and again, it was about him using his speech for truth. And he didn't back down on the negativity and the, this is the devil, music is the devil, and all of that, which I would consider nonsense, because music is sound, and it's healing, and it brings together people, and it opens the heart. I'm not saying that music can't be destructive in some ways. It can, if there's how it's used, right? It's the intention, it's the lyrics. I mean, there can be some things that can bring you into a lower vibration, but for the most part, music is this just wonderful connection. And he knew this. I mean, he, at a soul level, he said music is so healing, and he was so grateful for all of those opportunities. He started out as like a weatherman, and I think his uncle had some type of a radio show, but it was really through the American Bandstand. And it was, I thought this was very interesting, because you see these 5s in his talents, and it was on Studio 55 that they taped the show. He was only in the show 5 weeks when it hit #1. I mean, it was just all the synchronicity that he was, that spirit will give you, that you're on the right path, you're doing the right things, you're going to see, and if you're aware of that, 5s are all about this kind of multidimensional nature too. So it's always about these pioneer energies, and understanding that there are many truths, and it was okay for him to explore and bring that, out into the public. And so I also want to say that the 22-4 is an entrepreneurial number, and he was, and this was meant for him to come into this kind of an entrepreneurial status, which he had Dick Clark Productions, he did. And he had talked about how as a child, he started little businesses, again, that emotionally connecting with people. And then in his spiritual goals, to have a 4 is all about abundance, not just about money. It can be love, but it's trusting that things will come to you, whether it's money, love, food, whatever it is, the things that you connect with, that will flow. And it's all about learning from others, kind of as they did, which we'll talk in a minute about that. But I wanted to say on the entrepreneurial side, how he came into that, he worked through that karma, he activated his talents. And again, and his goals was all about, abundance, and this was just gave him an added incentive to achieve and be successful in business. And but he started out as a child. I think it was a shoe shine business, and so his little sign was 3 cents for one shoe, 5 cents for both shoes. And I thought that was funny that that also was tied to the 5 in his talent. So it was very cute. But how his parents encouraged him. Again, it's super necessary for people with 7s, because they can have these isolation energies, and where they don't want to be around people because they're hiding their true selves. Sometimes 7s feel like there's something wrong with them, and that's why they feel like they need to hide who they really are. They make great actors and actresses because they're very good, they're very objective in their expression, so they're very hard to read. So again, that's why they make such good, like journalists and actors and things out in the public, because they can hide where a lot of us wouldn't be able to, news stories that are very sad and things. So it's very hard again, but they're here to learn to come into who they are and not to hide behind a facade. And so that's what he was working on in this lifetime. And like I said, and his goals were all about bringing in that abundance, through, he had children. Sometimes fours usually will have children because fours can be a little bit selfish, not wanting to share. And then when you have children, it helps you to learn how to share and be very giving and be very warm, because you're getting that unconditional love from the child. And so that's why many of us have children, is by our contracts, to help us let go of that selfish, because if we don't trust in the universe, we tend to want to, he says, hang on to everything that we have because we're afraid to lose what little we have. So we're just kind of like, I'm hanging on to this. I'm not sharing with anyone. But he learned through his life how to let that go and trust in that flow. So very, very, very good. And he was really, he said he wasn't perfect at this, but he wanted to mention, as far as his children go, that he really tried to see them as who they were individually. And he wasn't expecting them to fall into his footsteps. And he recognized, one is being more analytical, one being more creative. And that's really good, to really see your children not as you want them to be, but who they really are. And I hope, he was as good a parent as he was. He said he hopes he was too, that he was, because we just never know. You love your children and you want the best for them. But again, they have their own journeys too. And so, his thing was, I just hope that they knew that I loved them and that I supported them like my parents did for me. So again, I do want to talk about the 17-8 and his spiritual talents briefly as well, because this is also about his expression in society. And it's also about communication. So again, excellent talents. You've got the speech here, speaking your truth. The more he spoke his truth, the more things opened for him. This helped him, give him great business skills, because it gave him a great sense of communication. It was a very grounding energy, which he needed with, these energies here that are a little bit, these are more closed off energies. So he really needed these, really picked some good talents. This one could have been questionable, like I said, especially with that 7 is a master number, and that can be a little tricky. But I really feel that because 7s need a safe environment to be able to express their feelings, that he was given that. And, he was divorced a few times, because 4s, again, not 8s and 4s, 8s not being in a relationship to be connected emotionally. That can be very difficult, and 4s can be a little selfish and, liking the limelight, wanting to be special. And so then, you bring people in your life, and I'm not saying that his divorces are his fault. It's usually, there's combinations of both. And I don't consider that failure when you have relationships and they don't work out, because it's meant for you to grow and learn. And if you're ready to go to the next level, you'll usually change your partner. And that's not, some people stay with the same, that depends on your journey. Like I said, there's no judgment there. So he was married a few times, but he was with this, his final wife for quite a while, and they really clicked. They really had a good, healthy relationship. And that's really what it's all about, a really good balance. Like I said, he was a very private person, and she gave him this very safe space that he could really be himself, even if he was being difficult and struggling with how he was expressing his emotions. So that was a wonderful thing. I'm glad I heard, that he was saying about her, because it does matter who you surround yourself with. And I've mentioned that in some of the other readings that I've done. The people that you surround or draw you to, if it's a negative, it's because you're to learn something from the relationship and identify that and become conscious of it, because then you pick better relationships. So if you are stuck in a pattern, we've got a new year, let's look at what patterns we are still in and what we can do to change that, what we can become conscious of and stop blaming others and start just looking at ourselves and what we can control and what we can change. And so, like I said, these were also great numbers. So the nines, so he was really about to become very magnetic, to become, had a great achievement ability with these fours and goals, and he did achieve quite a bit. And so he was really here, and it was all about him using his power in this lifetime and using it with great integrity, knowing his power, bringing through higher levels of truth. Fives are all about truth as well. And he feels that he did a good job. Obviously, we're all humans, we make mistakes. And as long as we learn and grow from them, this is setting him up for his next incarnation very well. He learned a lot of lessons and, about the fame side, and which he never really got pulled into that egoic side of the fame, right? Starting to believe the narrative of I'm, he stayed very humble, I guess is what I was trying to say. Even though he knew his gifts, and he would say, I was a good speaker, I was a good broadcaster. It's okay to like what you're good at and to recognize it in yourself. So that's kind of a complete being very whole. So the 22-4 is about recognizing our wholeness, because we're all whole. It's not that we're all, it's an illusion, the separateness from spirit. We choose to come down into these bodies. We have the spark of the divine inside of us, but we're having this very spiritual experience in a human body. And so it causes, all of a sudden we can lose that connection. And aides have to be careful too about being they can get very depressed. Like I said, these highs and lows in the emotion, because they're very sensitive. They're very nurturing, paternal, protective energies, this 8, but it's all about him learning how to feel in his body, learning how to feel what is going on. So that can be scary, and especially for 7s who are trying to hide themselves. And he said, yeah, his emotions were at times could be very, very scary thing. And so he supports everybody who's going through any type of difficult time, especially around the holidays. He says, because we so believe that, in our culture and the narrative of the commercials, that you have to have all these people around you to be happy. And he's saying that's not true. I'm not doing anything with anyone. It's New Year's Eve and I'm doing my videos and enjoying meditating and being alone. And I love being with my family and friends, and I love that side too, but I also have learned to love my independence and being alone. So he just wants to say it's okay if you are alone. Watch what you want to watch on TV, do the things that you like to do, or eat the foods you like to eat, nourish your body, those types of things. So I am going to quit sharing the screen here, and we want to get into, Dick would like to share some messages, so I'm going to just have him point me where he wants these cards first. And this is a Work Your Light Oracle. I always put during these videos, and he's saying it, remember, please hit like and subscribe. I'm trying to grow the videos and get them out there. These videos are timeless, so it doesn't matter that it's New Year's Eve. There's messages in here for everyone. Just, he wants to share his soul contract and how that worked for him, and show you what the numbers mean. Oh, And so what has come out is we have some light workers from the Pleiades that he would like to connect to. And so there's a double mission for people who are connected to the Pleiades, which is a star system. Some people are really tied to different star systems depending on different incarnations. It's not just the Earth. I believe in the like I said, Dick was a multidimensional being, so he's trying to bring that in as well, that there's more going on than just the Earth plane to have experiences and incarnations. So again, the Pleiades are all about channeling, something that I'm doing now, channeling Dick Clark's energy from his experience here in that particular lifetime. He's had many. I'm just channeling the soul of Dick, that was Dick Clark when he was here. So he wants to say that there's a double mission for anyone connected to the Pleiades. I feel very connected to the Pleiades myself, and it's also all about channeling and uplifting humanity. So being a person that is an uplifter, someone who is very positive and makes other people feel very positive as well. I am going to read in here from the actual book, since that Pleiades comes out, so that you get a little bit better understanding than maybe what I am talking about here. So, and this is all about so he's giving an actual transmission. What very cool thing to do on New Year's Eve, and for any time. We get downloads and transmissions all the time. It doesn't have to be a special day. Some people are more connected to special days, or are more open to them. So because on special days, people in general are in a more positive sense for the most part. So that, he wanted to say, helps a little as well. That might mean something to someone else. So the Pleiadians are a group of star beings dedicated to raising the vibration of the planet and sharing new consciousness through creations and technology. They have been incarnating on Earth since near the beginning of humanity. You are a soul who has a double mission: to grow at a soul level and to raise the vibration of the planet. If you have been called to write, speak, or channel, this is your sign to keep doing it. Your work is divinely guided. Of all the souls, Pleiadians are the chattiest. And so perhaps you have already started channeling some of this work into the third dimension. Thank you for doing your part in the great plan. Your presence and unique light is needed. So we're going to say, I'm going to raise this up, the Pleiades card. Hopefully I don't have the best camera. So it says, put your hand on your heart and say, I call upon Pleiadian consciousness of the highest realms and highest good of humanity to work through me. Let me be a channel for only the pierced light of the essence of source. Let me channel in a way that also serves me. Oh, that's so cool to know that he was connected to the Pleiades. And I'm not surprised at all when you heard the definition that would fit him. So we're going to go to the wisdom of the oracle and see what Dick wants to tell us. He's saying, yeah, those fives gave him a great sense of courage, of being able to speak his truth, and of course having I feel drawn to that one, having the support of his family was important. He said, but you don't need the support of your family. So he doesn't want anyone to get the impression that that's the only way that you can connect to your dreams and align to your soul's purpose. And this perfectly came out. This is number 22, Wisdom of the Oracle, and blessed. He felt gratitude is the one thing that, he would have to say, that he was grateful for everything, always felt gratitude and blessed. And what a beautiful card with the wings and the stars. So, which he was connected to the stars. And what was his job? Interviewing stars, right? I mean, it all really makes sense. So that is one thing he wants to, finding that alignment is really being grateful for what you have, recognizing the gifts in your life and your own gifts too, your own talents. So we're going to wisdom of the hidden realms. We'll see what comes out here, what he would like to share. Shuffle these. See what flies out. The winged wise ones, angelic help, miraculous aid, number 34, that adds up to 7, the karmic aspect of his chart. Ask your angels for guidance, ask for signs. You'll be very surprised by what the universe will send to you if you're open to it. And they are wise. Many of them, I work through, use a lot of Archangel Metatron's energy, one of the few angels who actually had an incarnation here on Earth. And so he has, I call him he, you know, most angels aren't female or male, but he seems more masculine, I guess. So it is something about his strength to me. So they are here to help. You have many angels, you're never alone. You have many angels and guides around you. As Dick said, when you deal with that 22-4 in your karma, it can be this, you can feel, and he had these 7s also in karma. You can sometimes feel very much alone, but these angels are there showing you guidance, showing you the path. Be careful about getting caught up in these cycles of the mind, that egoic structure kind of keeping you in these set patterns. So in order to change those patterns, you have to change the thought processes. You have to rewire your brain. We can go here. Diligence comes up. That bird flying, flying above the clouds, above these green fields. I am going to look up that diligence and see what, this is sacred destiny. So this is all about, and the number is 17, part of his talent, spiritual talent. So traditionally, fields were left fallow, unfarmed for extended periods of time to allow the soil to recover and rebalance its nutrients, to break disease and pest cycles, and to provide a haven for wildlife. Letting fields lie fallow meant that the subsequent crops were much healthier and more vibrant. Engaging in this time-honored process takes patience and diligence, but the results are worth the wait. There are times in life to step forward and take risks, but there are also times to be patient, step carefully and slowly, and know that the benefits you will gain in the future will be worth it. Be attentive, meticulous, and persistent. Use this time to plan for action steps in the future. Be diligent and consistent at each step as you move forward. By doing so, you will harvest remarkable results in the years ahead. This is not the time for instant gratification, something we all struggle with in our cultures, don't we? This is the time for deliberate organization. Clean house, clean clutter out of your life. Be thoughtful about how you spend your time and be discerning when choosing with whom you spend it with. Clear out relationships that do not support you. This is the beginning of a new year, and he's saying it's really, really important. Weeding the garden, I've talked about that before. Weeding out people, and that can be family, which is very difficult, very, very difficult. But it's really important to support yourself, in this journey here. And we're not here to be emotional punching bags for other people, to be used by other people for their happiness. We came here to carve our own path, to create our own destiny. We came here with goals and things we wanted to learn. So thank you for that. Wonderful. And I know that his belief in a higher power, this is what I'm hearing. The belief in the higher power for him was very critical in being able to build that trust, something that was in his karma that was very difficult, that 22-4 trusting. So I have the Keepers of the Light that we're pulling right now, which is by Kyle Gray, and this is all about angels. So we're going to see what angel is supporting you right now that you can call on. What angel, Dick, would you like to share? Maybe one that helped you, that you related to, most assuredly. Ooh. So, KRISHNA, devotion. Trust your spiritual guidance. Your commitment has been recognized. You are loved unconditionally. KRISHNA, devotion. Beautiful. Oh, he says, let's pick one more. Okay, go for that. Ooh. FREYA came up. Phases and cycles. There is a beginning with every ending. Illusions are revealed and released. And we are entering in this great new beginning, 2022. New beginnings can, like I said, start at any time. There's this beautiful moon and the raven on her back. There is a beginning with every ending. So we had just talked about releasing those old, people that aren't supporting you, old patterns that are keeping you weighed down. So, right here, being directed toward the secret language of light. He said, oh, he likes this one. Ooh. And of course, what comes out? Authentic truth. You know what your authentic truth is. And that's what radiates out into the world. Sharing your truth with others. Oh, I just love this card. It is so beautiful. Very, very gorgeous. So, you know your own authentic truth. And this is not someone else's. It has to be your own. You need to feel through that. If you're unsure about something, it means to take a step back, sit quietly, and try to think. You have to feel it in your body. This is where the intuition, the guidance comes through. And always pause. He says, always pause and never do anything impulsively, because that is gets us into trouble, gets us a little off balance. So you wanted to share that about the impulsivity, to recognize that in your life where you're being impulsive, where maybe you're giving in, trying to please others. I do want to mention that he had fives in his talents. Those can be very people pleasing. And so he says you have to watch boundaries and your energies and make sure that you're taking care of yourself in that way. But I will go to the book and see what this number 4. what he wants to pull out for that. About, okay, because 5's in his chart, even though this is number 4 and is also a tied to trust in the universe. He talks about this book talks about what he wants to say, and it's discover your truth and let others find their truth. The truth will set you free. So long as you recognize there is more than one truth, and this is all a part of that multidimensional nature, there are many truths. And that the answers you seek exist beyond the beliefs you hold now. There are many truths in this world. You don't have to believe them all. Just focus on what resonates with you. If you must convince yourself of your beliefs, they are not your truth. Your truth will always fulfill and satisfy. It is unconditional, meaning conditions don't have to change for you to live and feel your truth. There is no right or wrong, but there's cause and effect, or action and reaction. Master yourself, not someone else's processes. When you change your beliefs, your life changes to match it. To do this, you must be aware of how you feel and practice focusing on what makes your heart sing, not shrink. When you align with your truth, you will flow, feel excited, and believe an authentic life is possible. If it is not your truth, you will resist, find it hard to commit, and feel indecisive. What a beautiful message that was. Thank you, Dick, for drawing me to that so that I could share that much more clearly about how you go about finding that authentic truth. So now we're going to go to the guide that I work the closest with, the Archangel Metatron. Self-Mastery deck by Amanda Ellis. Let's see what Dick would like to bring forth. So I am getting, here's a transformation card. We had a transmission card. Now we're getting a transformation card. And so this is light and dark. And so it really, again, you know, for Dick, with his 7s, it was really about him embracing also your shadow side, because we're all bringing in these negative experiences. We all have a shadow side. We all can be selfish. We all, you know, it's recognizing when we're not following our highest road, right? It's recognizing it, acknowledging it. If we don't, you know, it keeps getting pushed down, and it will come out later. When you manipulate your own self, kind of that hidden self, and you use these justifications and rationalizations, whether it's maybe blaming others, being judgmental, being mean, withholding affections, things like that, which again, it's coming in, it's trying to make you aware of why you're doing that. What is the belief that is holding you into that shadow side? Because we all have those tendencies. Some act on them, some don't. But again, it's really about integrating the light, knowing there's a light, I guess, and a dark. You know, this is 31, it adds up to 4. Again, he had that in his karma, and understands the difficulty with that, you know, seeing ourselves in its entirety, in our you know, none of us are perfect. We came here to learn lessons, and you know, we have to, you know, we're trying to come into this more conscious of being and supportive energy and allowing the flow. And it's not just all about us, it's a collective consciousness we're dealing with, and it can get very muddied and very you know, very convoluted. So we really, building clarity is really important. And that comes from being your own witness to your thoughts and your actions, and really feeling how that how that went, not going to the point of, we tend to, our ego tends to replay things out, hoping, oh, if I would have said this and I would have done that. And that's not what this is all about. This is about being an objective witness to how you're reacting, so that you can come back to the belief that's, if it's something negative, a pattern that keeps showing up, so you can get to that core belief that's causing that and let that belief go, because it's our beliefs that really drive us. And all beliefs are just they're mostly, we all kind of have this inner guidance system, but we take on beliefs from our parents and culture and society, and they may not be our authentic truth. So our last card for this reading is our healing card, our mantra. We got to end with a mantra. It wouldn't be a video if we didn't have a mantra. So this mantra is based, and it's from the Matcon Healing Mantra deck, and it's about receiving elation. And the mantra is, I am born of infinite joy. I am born of infinite joy. I am born of infinite joy. And I am going to when elation is received, joy becomes your natural state of being. In elation, you are aligning with the ecstatic nature of the universe to live each moment with renewed passion and purpose. Elation helps you enjoy your human journey as it is right now, without projecting your fulfillment onto the anticipation of future pending outcomes. This mantra is ideal for increasing the flow of creative inspiration, elevating the immune system, and being more present. Something we all have to work on is being in the present moment, where everything is really created. Having vision, I will say, is important, but the present moment is, to me, the most important. I learned that through Eckhart Tolle, and just from learning not to fight the present moment and spending too much time in the past in your mind, which causes depression, sadness, or to anxiety, which is your fear of the future and what is coming. So present moment, meditating, being here now. All wonderful messages from Mr. Dick Clark, and I want to thank him so graciously for giving me this great idea of doing this on New Year's Eve with him. And I am so grateful for that inspiration that he brought in, and we miss him. I miss him doing the New Year's Eve broadcasts. And tonight I'm going to try to find another one that I resonate with. And he said definitely wants people to, he's doing great on the other side, and he loves all of you, and he's sending his best. He wants to talk about anchoring your light. Us Pleiadians, if you resonate with the Pleiades, we really, it's important for us to offset the negativity. So have fun, get back to that joyful nature, remember the mantra, practice that. I'll put that in the box below, as well as other information on how, if you would like a personal reading, how you certainly can contact me for one of those on my website, which is thealignmentkeys.net. So thank you for being here, for joining me. Thank you to Dick Clark, a great representative for the human experience. So thank you, everybody. I'm sending you so much love.